Hey everybody, how's it going? I recently got my hands on a new bike, the Giant Trance 29.1, and today I want to share my quick and unbiased opinion about it. We'll talk about the frame size, as I'm 6'2 or 188 centimeters, which is between large and extra large frames. Also, we're gonna do some upgrades to the bike, and I'll show you some essential tools and accessories that I use for my bikes. All the links will be down below. I intentionally bought the alloy version of this model because it offers better value for me. I like the feel and handling of alloy bikes, and I couldn't care less about their weight. I would always choose alloy components over carbon, it's just my personal preference. I have nothing against carbon, for example this specific part here is made of carbon. So I'm not gonna go deep into details about this bike. It features very predictable and smooth 4-piston Shimano MT520 brakes, a 12-speed Shimano SLX drivetrain, the rear shock is a Fox DPS Performance, the fork is a Fox 34 float performance with 130 mm of travel. It's a pretty standard setup found across various bike manufacturers. What sets this bike apart is its Maestro suspension. I've ridden a lot of different bikes, but I've never experienced such outstanding performance and bottomless feel. Whether actively pedaling or going downhill on a bumpy trail with intensive braking, the suspension provides a butter-smooth ride, keeping the wheel on the ground and absorbing all shocks seamlessly. Overall, the bike handles exceptionally well on any terrain. If you're not a fanboy of a specific brand, you'll definitely notice the difference. The rest of the components are pretty standard. The bike weighs about 33 pounds or 15 kilos. It's a good weight for a trail bike and doesn't affect my enjoyment of the ride in any way. Now let's move on to the upgrades. We'll start with the pedals. First, I'll remove the old ones, like so. Next, let's clean this area from dirt and old grease. Then I'm gonna install these silicone crank protectors. Now we can install the new pedals. Take a look at these Shimano beauties. Let's apply some grease on these threads and screw them firmly into the crank arm. Next, I'll install this chain guide. It comes with several spacers for horizontal guide adjustments. You can see one already in place. This screw is for vertical adjustments. Apply grease to all screws and attach the chain guide to these mounting points. In my case, the guide isn't perfectly centered, so we need to add an additional spacer. Now it looks perfect. Shift to the slowest gear and ensure the chain doesn't touch the guide. Make height adjustments to the guide if necessary. Next, I'll mount this ProBike bottle cage. It's lightweight, sturdy and looks sleek. Now I'm gonna install the Syncros fender. It's a high-quality product, unlike the cheap stuff that holds on zip ties. It comes with screws, a hex key and these rubber inserts. Simply apply some grease on the screws and secure the fender to the fork. What I'm gonna do next is replace this 50mm giant stem with the 40mm one. But first let's talk about the frame size and which one you should choose. Like I said before, I'm 6'2 or 188 centimeters and this height falls between L and XL frame sizes from most bike manufacturers. Choosing a bike based only on your height is not the best way. I would also take into account the rod number for a more accurate fit. The link on how to do that will be at the end of this video. This is an XL frame and it fits me almost perfectly. But in terms of the rod number, this bike is 10mm larger to be a perfect fit for me. That's why I'm replacing the stem with a shorter one. It's a pretty straightforward process. Just remove all the screws and the stem itself. Install the new one. Apply some grease on the screws. Align the handlebar and the stem. and tighten all the screws. In case I chose the large frame, I could definitely ride the bike, but it felt weird and the rod number for that bike was almost 20 mm shorter, so I'd have to replace the stem with a 60 mm one, which is not a good idea for a mountain bike. So if you're about my height and your rod number is about 34 inches, then XL would be your best choice. And finally, let's talk about tools. Here's basically what I always carry in my backpack. A CO2 tire inflator and a tire repair kit. Must have stuff, especially for tubeless tires. I also carry a bike pump with a pressure gauge, a multi-tool with a chain breaker to fix a broken chain, and of course a spare chain link and a tool to open it. At home I have a set of hex keys, a good torque wrench, and a shock pump. And that's it. Thank you for watching.